everyone. I'm Ryan.
And I'm Steve, and this is 60 Cycle Hum, the guitar buying, selling, trading, modding, fixing, breaking, reviewing, playing podcast. Let's do it.
This first ad is from Jim Duffied.
I guess.
Duffied?
Yeah,
Duffied?
This is a Fender Mustang USA Charcoal Edition, a la Jimi Hendrix.
I really think it's neat that Fender worked so closely with Kingsford to come out with a signature Mustang.
Well, the description on this is Fender Mustang made and fired up in the USA, alder body, very hot, real relic. Maple neck with charcoal fingerboard, missing some frets and all dots. All chrome parts are very tarnished. Tuner buttons in melted condition. Broken E string can be replaced easily. An interesting conversation piece for long winter nights. Also a great Christmas present.
Yeah, great Christmas present.
How much are they asking for this?
Did it say what is made out of?
They're asking $990. This is, I don't know what the neck is maple. The body, I would assume, alder body. This is like the real deal.
I think they should have gone with hickory.
Well, this is a real deal.
I prefer cherry. When I'm smoking.
My thought is, $990 really isn't that bad if you have a pressure cooker. You throw this thing in there for a couple hours and you got yourself a diamond.
Well, really at the place it is right now, this is the perfect point to wrap it in foil and let it rest. Because that crust on there is just gonna mix with the steam locked inside of the guitar, and it's gonna form this thick, just delicious gravy sitting in the base of it. Like, I'm telling you, wrap it in foil where it's at right now. It's gonna be really good. And let it rest. So what are you saying? This is a legit Mustang. This is
because the tuners are like the Fender F style tuners.
Do you think it's vintage?
Yeah,
that's a bummer.
Yeah.
I mean, we're looking at a Mustang that, for the audio listeners, that is just completely burned. I'm surprised there's really, like, how did it get this burned and then stop the process? Like,
I don't know.
Because it's so burned that you're surprised it's not ash, really.
Yeah.
But then a lot of stuff is still there. The pickups are still there. The switches are still there. The pick guard is gone, so. Apparently some frets fell out.
Oh, really?
But the tuners are gone too, because the tuning buttons melted away. But I feel like this neck is probably salvageable.
The pickups actually look really cool because it's a Mustang pickup.
Yeah. You think there's any chance they still work?
So no, they don't. I'm sure they don't work, but it looks cool because the pickup casing has like melted into the pickup itself.
I bet this is more salvageable than it looks at first glance. Like, there's a nice, like, chunky patina of charcoal across the entire body. But you look at the back of the headstock of the neck, and I feel like you scrape away everything. You have to scrape away the nut and the tuners and the frets, and you have to start from square one with this thing.
Yeah.
But I think a nice light polish to the burn stuff, but leave it like where you're getting some burned things going on underneath it, I think it could look really cool. I think the structural integrity of the neck is still there, because it really does just look like a surface burn, right? Yeah.
Well, so I'm looking at the back of the headstock. The back of the headstock doesn't look completely terrible, I guess. The body, actually, I think the body is definitely salvageable.
Yeah, I think so too.
It really would just come down
because it's not going through to the wood. It's like the paint gummed up and burned.
Yeah, I think it would really come down to like how. Well, I mean, I guess if you're going to take the whole thing apart, you're going to take the whole thing apart. But I was going to say it's going to depend on like how hard it is to remove all of like the metal parts, because it definitely looks like some of the metal has like you said, like the finish. Like the finish has melted, but then it seems like the finish has like melted and then
the knob survived somehow.
Yeah, it's like the finish has melted and then like kind of like re-solidified, or like so it's almost like it's locking some of that stuff in place.
I'm saying like do a light sand on this. Don't try to take it down to wood, but like see what happens when you start taking back that burned up patina, and there might be like a really cool look hiding underneath this thing. Or just like knock it down a little bit and clear coat it and leave that charcoal look. I'd want to keep as much as that metal hardware as possible with that burned look on it, because it's kind of cool. Obviously, you're going to have to scrap the pickups and the switches are gonzo, and probably the pots and the internal wires and whatnot. But I don't know.
I almost
I'm
wonder
saying,
if those pickups, because it's metal. Metal doesn't burn.
I think it comes down to whether the heat was hot enough to burn the copper wire, because the copper wire is so fine.
Yeah.
If you get a single break in that copper wire, then it's done.
Yeah,
right?
that's true. And if everything is like, even if it, like I said, like it looks like the top of it melted and then resolidified, there's a pretty good chance that the actual bobbin is toast.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I think you're just gonna have to scrape all that stuff out. It's done.
Yeah, so $990. What do you think?
I think the price is outrageous. Even if it's a USA. It doesn't say the year, does it?
No.
Even if this is, like
I'd guess
a desirable
late 60s.
year, I can't see paying more than. I'm having 600 flash in my head,
One of the problems with this,
which seems
is,
unreasonable still.
Super Rich Steve is conflicted about this guitar.
It's already burned.
It's already been burned.
Steve feels the way about the Super Rich Steve feels the way about this that other people feel about relics. Like this is already someone already did the fun
if I can't
stuff.
burn it,
Someone already did the fun thing.
then why am I gonna buy it?
Super Rich Steve buys this, and then hires a guitar tech to restore it in the driveway of the person you bought it from.
Oh my gosh. I think the neck is problematic. I think the neck is probably gone.
You think so?
I think the neck is probably a waste.
I don't know, man. It says frets fell out,
Yeah, frets definitely fell out.
but I think if you defret this and you give it a light sanding and like a thick lacquer, I think it'll be fine. I think it really comes down to the truss.
Yeah.
Did the truss survive? Because I don't think any of this burn is deep enough to affect structural integrity.
Right.
It all looks just like a very surface, like super fast, hot burn. It didn't even have a chance to melt the knobs or the switch tips. It melted. I'm betting this thing was hanging on a wall. I'm betting the tuning pegs melted because they were closer to the ceiling where all the heat was collecting, and the rest just got like a quick hot sear to it,
A nice sear. It's a kind of a sous vide guitar with a sear there at the end.
You want to cook it slow and low and then finish it off with some hot, quick heat.
I feel like I need to have somebody prepare like something good for me, because I understand it in principle, but I'm not like into it.
I'd like to get a sous vide machine, but it's also like the prep time thing. It's like you got to plan your meals.
Well, that's what I mean.
Way ahead.
Like, so because I'm in like the Gordon Ramsay 1 minute per side camp with steak, so I'll pull a steak out. I'll like let it like come up to room temperature for like 15 or 20 minutes, and I'll do like a minute and a half per side.
Wow, that's quick.
Are
you doing on a skillet, or are you doing on a grill? Okay, on a skillet that makes sense. On a grill, you need more.
I'll do like olive oil on a grill, and I usually go for like a rare to medium rare on my steaks anyway. So like the whole thing with someone we know posted their sous vide, and it looked great, but when they walked through the process, I'm like, it's 4.5 hours.
Yeah. I mean, the whole idea is like it's basically smokeless smoking.
Yeah,
because you're cooking at a super low temperature.
And I don't know if you saw it, but they did sous vide, and then they did seared. So sous vide, then I think they did like oven searing. So that was like another 20 minutes. Or no, I think they did a quick sear, and then they threw it in a smoker for 20 minutes.
It does sound like a lot of work.
So at that point, like I literally added up. I'm like, this is like 20 minutes. Or this is like, 4 hours, 4.5 hours.
It's a lot of work for a chunk of meat that I'm going to choke down without breathing in a minute.
And I was talking to a friend of mine. He's like, well, like if you're doing like true barbecue, like that's how it is. Like you get up at 3 in the morning to do it.
When I smoke stuff, it's like a 9-hour process.
Yeah. And I'm like, but I feel like I understand that more, because I can't achieve smoked.
Yeah.
On my stovetop, I need to be convinced that sous vide is 4.5 hours better than my 30-minute process.
We've solved it here. Maybe this guitar didn't endure a hot, fast fire. Maybe this thing was smoked.
A slow, cold fire.
A slow, cool fire. That's why the knobs aren't melted. That's why the switch tips aren't melted. it's because it never got hot enough to melt those. It just sat there, and it's like this guitar is like a really well cooked brisket. That's all like burnt in there. You open this thing up and it's gonna be cooked to perfection.
It's gonna be perfect.
Yeah.
This is, it's a good thing that they didn't use jet fuel.
It would have melted all the steel beams that were inside of this. People are going to be so mad that I said that jet fuel can melt steel beams. You don't have to melt the steel beams. You just have to get them soft and tender. This has become an inappropriate joke.
Man, I could go over some burnt ends right now, though. I'm freaking hungry.
I know. Barbecue does sound good, doesn't it?
Shoot.
We keep talking about what we're going to do for our 300th, and I'm liking the idea of us recording outside.
Yeah.
And like throwing some junk stuff into a fire pit and maybe having some barbecue. Maybe have like just a couple friends over instead of doing the big party like we did for the 200th. Do you think that idea sounds good?
Sure. We have to figure out who to put on that list. Let us know if you think you should be on the list for our 300th episode party.
Go ahead and sign up for our Patreon. We'll let you know if you made the cut. But what would you...
Here's an idea. If somebody signs up for Patreon at a high enough level, we will fly to you and do our 300th episode at your place.
That's not the craziest.
I don't
idea.
know what that level would be. It's probably like the $300 level.
I was talking to Glenn Fricker at TGU.
Yeah.
I know. I'm sorry. Boring
TGU
talk. And he has some. He has a Patreon supporter that is big enough that Glenn traveled all the way to visit him in San Diego.
Dang.
Yeah. So.
It was you, wasn't it?
Squad goals. No, some drummer guy. What do you think is a fair price for this? Assuming it is like the top tier prime example of an original Mustang.
I feel like it's splitting hairs. I know you went with 600, but I'm thinking no more than 400, and I need to see neck pocket pictures.
At those price ranges, it is splitting hairs. I think the body at least is salvageable, and at that price, I think you're getting a cool Mustang body for $400. I think you're going to have like,
but I think it's
going to be a cool looking guitar.
I would need to
fix it up.
verify that it's like a 65, 66.
Sure. But I'm saying in that scenario,
yeah,
like if this is just some CIJ or something like that,
right?
Like give it away at this point.
Or give it the old Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Yeah,
treatment.
give it away right now.
All right.
Yeah,
I think we're done.
We're complete.
All right.
I think we're the only podcast that vocalizes when our bits are done. I think the others just move on, or they employ.
They try to segue
the powers of editing to get past that. We have completed this portion of the podcast.
You should
let us move on to the next portion of the podcast, Steve.
You should just start dropping like 2 or like 5 millisecond like black screens
countdowns.
So I'm saying like just enough of a black line that it looks like you're cutting parts together, but it's really just it's like, straight footage, 2 milliseconds of black and then more footage. So there's like there's a jump. Like it's basically like, I don't know, remove like 3 frames.
Yeah. You ever see in interviews where all of a sudden like there's a shift and like a blending shift?
Yeah.
And that's because they're cutting out like a rambling part or like a misspoken word or something like that. And I never really understood what that was for until I started editing video. And now I use it all the time. But like the amount of editing I'm doing on this podcast, I could totally edit out these awkward bits where we say that the bit is over. But I'm not gonna because I think it's fun. So
also, you already complained about your workful being too long.
What's new, Steve?
I have a box.
You're gonna unbox?
From FedEx. We're gonna unbox.
Here we go.
Should I say what I'm unboxing?
I think you should reveal it once you've unboxed it.
Oh, okay.
It's not a surprise for you. It's not a surprise for me. It might as well be a surprise for the audience as they're watching. They're watching right now, excited to see what's inside the box. They are living through you vicariously, and you are destroying the box in the most ridiculous way.
Well, yeah.
You might as well be chewing at it right now.
These scissors are not very good.
Those are great scissors. I use those scissors for cutting Velcro, and they're perfect for it.
Well, they're not good at cutting this stuff. They're not good at cutting FedEx envelopes.
So this come from another country? Oh my god. Jeez. Steve is destroying this box. People, you should do more unboxings just for the carnage.
I pulled it out the side.
Yeah.
Oh, look, I got a bunch of bubble wrap.
Cool.
Hey,
Yay.
No, this is a Chalks
Is that how
from
you
the
pronounce it?
Future Power Generation series.
I always
This is
pronounce it in my
actually the
head
first one.
Seox. Seox.
No, it's Chalks.
Seox.
That's why they have one called the Chocolate.
I always just assumed that was, like a failed pun.
Man, there's a lot. Oh, here we go. Finally there.
Oh, you got
This
it.
is like a really great presentation
a bunch
too,
of
with all this
cables
stuff.
in here.
This is the Chalks DC7. This is super cool. It's an ultra thin, high power supply. Basically, you can see on the front, you've got 9, 12, 15, and 18 volt settings for every output. And at 9 volts, it does 660 milliamps, which is pretty much like, I think for
That's plenty.
I think for isolated output, 660 milliamps is close to, if not, it's the highest. I think it's the highest single output I've seen for a fully isolated.
For isolated, yeah.
For isolated. Obviously, yeah, if you have like a non-isolated, it kind of just they dogpile.
Yeah, yeah.
There are just a ton of features on this.
It is
really,
pretty dang thin.
look how thin that is. And like it's this thin, but it's a fully grounded power supply.
And it's got that like tough rhino finish on it.
And from what I understand, it has I forget what the technology is called, but basically you can use this in any.
It's got a USB.
You
power
can
on
use
it.
this in like any country without like a converter. Like you don't have to
Really?
buy like different versions. You don't have to like flip a switch. Like it switches internally. So all
I
you
don't
have
know
to
if
do
I
is have
should
the
be
right plug.
impressed by that, but it sounds impressive.
It's really cool. This comes with a bunch of the power cables.
The case on it is just super heavy duty.
Three-way daisy chain, so you can use a single output to power like this. This is great because I like to daisy chain all of my my drives.
Yeah.
And this is 3 plugs, and all of my chains are 5 plugs. This is perfect. Bunch of other stuff. I don't know what this. Oh, this is the grip bracket, which allows for easy mounting underneath a pedal train. Man.
What board are you going to use this on?
I don't know, because I was going to use it on that little board that you gave me, but now I'm thinking...
This is big
I
board
might do
material,
something
boy.
else.
7 outlets that you can split.
More information. The Chalks 4. Here's a couple pens.
It's got these little
This is
mini
great.
switches on it, and you can decide like what kind of milliamps you'd get across different
Oh.
voltages. So you can set it to 9 volt, 660 milliamps, or
Yeah.
12 volt, 500 milliamps, 15 volt, 400 milliamps, or 18 volt, 330 milliamps.
Yeah, so this is just off this card, and I just realized what these cards are, which is cool.
It's got a little thing on there to let you know how close you are to max
Yeah,
load.
so check this out. This is the 7. It came on top of here.
Uh-huh.
If you want a 4, this is the size of the 4.
Oh.
This is the size of the 5.
What? How many of these cards did they give you?
Here's the 7.
Are these promotional materials that they sent you?
And here's the 10. This is nuts, man. This is cool.
Yeah, so if you're shopping, you could just get one of these cards and be
Yeah.
like, yeah, that'll work for me, or figure out what the size that you need
And
is.
yeah, like I was saying, the 7 is the smallest and lightest. I have another power supply that I've talked about before on the show that is also very light and small, but it is not this light and small.
That thing is heavy duty, and it's like,
Yeah, it's a 1-inch
Crap full
profile.
of
It's a
options.
2-stage switch mode. The total output on this, I think, is it's 9 times 7 times 660. I forget what that works out in terms. Oh, total output power is 48 watts. So that actually puts it in like the top. Even though it's only 7 outputs, that puts it in the top class in terms of power output. Because you think about like a lot of your supplies out there are like 9 by 100.
right.
So they're only like a 12. I think that's about 9 by 100 is a sixth of 45, whatever that is. So what 45 divided? It's like
Interesting that
it's
they
like
have-
about 8 watts.
They have a proproprietary cable there
Yeah.
that uses like the RCA design.
Also, you see that guy on the side right there?
the little thing at the bottom, the little round thing.
Well, there's that too. But
I
right
noticed
above
the
it,
USB
this
already.
also has a USB port on it.
Yeah.
So if you have anything on your board that needs USB,
Like you
you're
use
covered.
like an iPhone or a tablet or something
Yeah,
like that as part
this
of your
is
rig.
like super full featured. This is great.
That's ridiculous.
4
dude.
voltages on each outlet. So a lot of these power supplies that you get from companies, you can only pick, 1 or 2 of the lines that'll do 12 or 18 volts. This will do 9, 12, 15, or 18 on any line.
Yeah, that's the crazy thing about it. It's got that little switching thing on every single outlet, so you can decide. Like if you wanted all 18 volts on this, you could.
Yeah.
Every
yeah.
single plug be 18 volts, 330 milliamps.
This is super cool. Oh, this is the selection guide for
Where,
cables.
what is going on with our lives where we're so excited about a box that delivers power to other boxes? Nerds.
Yeah, I know,
We're
right?
just a bunch of nerds.
I don't remember what the price point is on this. I'll put links in the show notes.
I
of
mean,
course.
full disclosure, they sent this to us, and we were like, "Yeah, we'll like unbox it on the show." And Steve has use for it.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I could use it too, but my power situation is
I
handled
think
right
you
now.
have more power supply.
I've got
you
a
have
lot of
more
power
power
supplies around
supplies
here,
on
but
it?
that thing is beefy.
This
dude.
is really cool. This
And
was a lot of cool
just
stuff.
the dimensions of it is cool because like boards are getting thinner and thinner.
Yeah.
It's got higher demands for power from stuff like
You want to do a
in the
mini
past-
board, you want to do whatever.
Yeah, that thing will totally fit underneath a mini board.
Well, and that's the thing. So this will fit under the mini board, but then it almost feels like a waste because it's so much power.
I know, right? But like you could with that splitter there, you could daisy chain 3 of those things together and power an HX stomp off of that.
Oh yeah.
You just have to get the right adapters going. They might be in there.
I think there is a Y adapter in here. There's a parallel adapter. I
Yeah,
think it may
we'll
have the
figure that all
adapter in
out.
there already. I have to go through it all again. That's super cool.
But it's like you put together a mini board, you use 3 of those outlets for an HX stomp, and then you throw a couple other pedals on that board.
I think you should be able to do it with 2 outlets
Yeah, you're probably right.
because 2 outlets gets you 1320.
9 volt at 660.
That gets you 9
Yeah, yeah.
volts
No,
at,
you can-
at 1320.
I think
when
you
you
can
add them up.
I think I was able to power the HX stomp with 800.
Yeah.
So yeah, you should be able to do
So,
2 outlets.
Super cool. Again, check out the notes. We will be. I'll bring in whatever I end up doing with this. I'll
Yeah,
show
yeah.
you guys. It's gonna be fun. All right, maybe I'll just throw it on like my main board. It's just so tidy.
Just use it to power
excited.
power things in your house.
I know. I'm just gonna
Lamps.
start like.
Dishwashers, microwaves.
Jeez.
Wouldn't it be buck wild if because we've all been using these wall plugs forever now. Wouldn't
Yeah.
it be buck wild if someday everything switches over to using 9 volt little mini plugs for the power? You just get a lamp and it's got the little barrel plug.
I mean, with so many things going LED, like that's not totally like.
Yeah, it's not out of
Insane.
the question. And those things are kind
I don't
of
know if they go to 9 volt but I could see everything going to like USB.
yeah,
A
or
lot of stuff could go to
some
USB.
tiny little plug. Those things are pretty safe too.
Yeah.
Maybe it's there's a limitation of doing 120 volt off the wall, where like that current would jump across that small of a connection.
I'm still so.
He's got to
excited
pull it
about
back
this.
out and look at it again. It's one of those things where when it's you look at it online, you're like, okay, a power supply, but once you're holding it in your hand, it is beefy.
Yeah.
It's a serious piece of engineering.
Also, like, I know, again, stupid features, but all of the switches on the front are, they're dip switches to select your voltage. And it's got the little map there so you know what you're doing. But part of that design is also because on a lot of other power supplies where you have voltage switching, it's just a standard toggle switch. So if
could
you
get
know,
bumped accidentally and
if your
stuff.
board's sitting like this and maybe it's on carpet and like you push down on a little and you have like exact clearance and you push down on it and slide it for some reason, all of a sudden you're delivering 18 volts to your delay.
Yeah, seriously.
Anyway, too much excitement over a power supply. Oh man,
This is the part of the show where you ask me what's new.
Ryan, what's new?
Nothing. I got nothing.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
You want to do the first topic? Oh, sponsors.
Yeah, this episode is sponsored by Chase Bliss Audio. They have a new pedal out called The Mood.
The mood.
The Mood.
I still don't have it yet because we record 2 episodes at a time. But I bet I have it in real life. And when you're listening to this episode, I bet I've already produced some sort of content for
Hopefully.
it. Yeah.
Anyway, it's a granular looper delay. It does a lot of really cool stuff. if
It's
Ryan,
more creative than you are.
that's damn straight. If you haven't seen it yet, go check out the demo that Knobs did. Maybe Ryan's done a demo by now. Who knows? You think he'll have a demo done by now?
Joel told me when he wanted me to release it, but I don't remember what that date is. They're doing instead of doing everything.
Today is July 1st, Ryan.
Instead of doing everything on the same day, they're doing a staggered launch with it. So let Chase Bliss know if you prefer that kind of thing, because I know a lot of companies where they launch everything same day, and some people get sick of it.
Yeah.
And
That's
some
cool.
people like it because they're like, I can watch everything all at once.
I think that's kind of the way to do it sometimes.
If you like the staggered launch versus the deluge launch, then let Chase Bliss know for sure if that appealed to you. So yeah, go check out that pedal. I bet it's cool. I don't have it yet, but I'm really excited to check it out. And check out all their other stuff too. Chase Bliss audio pedals. They make pedals more creative than you are.
Speaking of deluge launches, Ryan. Wow, that sounded kind of.
Go on.
Our first topic today is the new Squier Starcasters and the shock of sudden gear drops with no warning.
So this happened. I mean, this is, like I said, we recorded this episode 2 weeks ago. This happened to me last night. I'm sitting on the couch, cruising, Facebook groups on my phone while I'm watching Star Trek Voyager. I got to paint the scene here.
Dude, you're like way ahead of me in Voyager. You started after me, and apparently you're just watching like 12 episodes a day.
They ran out of stuff on Hulu that I was interested in watching and Netflix at the same time. I was like, I'm just going to start getting into Voyager. So anyways, all of a sudden, across all these groups, Starcasters start popping up. Like, what is going on? And then I see the price. Freaking $300, $400 Squier Starcasters, classic vibe and affinity lines in all sorts of really attractive colors.
Yeah, so there's
all sorts of different pickup loadouts.
There's the classic vibe. Which is the 400. There's the affinity at 300, and then there's the active. Like, I don't know if it's a standard model or what, but it's an active pickup loadout that's also 400.
So like the affinity ones have open coil humbuckers, and the active one has active like covered EMG style humbuckers.
The classic vibe one is basically a Squier version of the Fender pawn shop.
Yeah, the classic vibe one in
Starcaster.
that Sunburst, it made me feel things, and I'm like, there's too many guitars I want. Like coming hot off of TGU, like. I walked away from TGU with like 5 guitars on my list that I desperately want. And it's like, I can't do this to myself. And then Squier drops this on me.
Yeah.
These super affordable guitars that look hot. They look really hot. They have the real Starcaster headstock on them.
Which is actually like a feature that I think I'm trying to think of
I look at those,
any other time in... Oh, you know what? Squier was putting out instruments with different headstocks in that when they were doing those interesting like the like carved top models.
I would have expected though for like a Squier Affinity for it to not have the carve on the edge at all, just for them to do the outline of the headstock.
Yeah.
On the classic vibe, I kind of expect it, but still at $400. And they come with wide range pickups that people are probably going to complain about, but whatever. I look at those things and I'm like, those are...
It's at least visually accurate.
Those are mod bait.
Yeah.
Like people are going to buy those and mod those forever now.
If the classic vibe plays well, people are going to, people who really are purists are going to pick that up, and then they're going to drop a set of Curtis Novaks or whatever, like some manufacturer who makes a true wide range pickup.
I mean, classic vibe stuff has been pretty good in the past. Maybe they nail it with these pickups.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, they're probably just, I mean, the construction method for the old wide range pickup basically doesn't exist.
They're probably just their regular Duncan designs hiding underneath a cover.
I mean, so they probably sound fine.
They're probably fine. But yeah, it's like just the shock of that dropping on me at like 11 o'clock at night. And it's like, great, now I can't fall asleep.
Yeah.
Because now I'm thinking about these guitars that I haven't played, but I know like in my gut gas instincts, like, oh, I have to have these now. But which one do I pick? There's so many to choose from.
This one seems a little early. Some people are saying, well, this is kind of like a gear, which it is like a couple days before Sweetwater Gear Fest when this was dropped, or kind of like maybe like a early on the early side for like a Summer NAMM release. And I think maybe what's I'm thinking about this. I'm thinking about releases because also like Earthquaker Devices just put out released a new pedal, which I think sold out like on the same day because it was like a limited
run. Yeah. The sun thing.
Yeah, and
It's like a rat and a boost, right?
I think something like that. And I think the deal with these Squiers and why it's more shocking is the fact that it's Squier. And when is literally
when has
like
Squier put out a semi-hollow?
never. I mean, okay, like classic vibe telly, thin line.
Sure.
That's it.
That's not a semi-hollow.
Right.
Yeah.
It's
Semi-hollow, but it's not a semi-hollow. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't think that they've, like I was saying before with the headstock thing, like I don't think they've varied off of the main Fender lines in like 10 years.
Sure.
They did like the Squier Master Series had a couple different models in there.
It definitely feels way out of left field.
It is, but it's not. Like, it's not completely out of left field. It's actually kind of a move that I think people have wanted to see Squier do for a really long time, which was to do some of like Fender's like cool, like more interesting models on a Squier level, you know.
I'd love it if they came out with a Squier 12 string with that like hockey stick headstock.
Right. Yeah.
I'd pick one of those.
I mean, the question is if these do decently, will we see a Squier Coronado next? You know,
and then you know they're saving some build issues with these or build difficulty with them by not having a trim on them.
Right.
The I think the Mexican version that they had previously, or was it made in China version?
I'm not sure where they were made.
Had an offset trim versus the original style Starcaster trim.
No, I'm trying to remember.
So that saves like some build difficulty and build costs and stuff like that. They're just doing hardtail on these, which honestly is probably better.
Yeah.
Are you looking them up?
So the Modern Player Starcaster was a hardtail.
It was Modern Player. But then they had the Coronado that had the trim, right?
So maybe. I think the Coronados did. I think the Starcaster has always had some variation. So the newer.
Didn't they have it had a trapeze tail piece or something?
No, it had like a weird. It had this weird.
I'm remembering all these different variations of things. Did it have like it had like a Mustang?
It had this
trim bar thing on it. That's the.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. Then maybe I'm thinking of the Coronado. Because they went for a Tune-o-matic style thing on it, right?
Yeah, the newer ones are Tune-o-matic. The
Yeah,
Coronados have a trapeze, and some of them have like a Bigsby.
Okay.
Or whatever the hell that thing
is. I think it's smart that they went with a Tune-o-matic style. What is Fender called their Tune-o-matic? Because it's not Tune-o-matic. It's
the Adjustomatic.
Adjustomatic.
Wait, is it Adjustomatic?
I wish they had gone for a fish pun instead of tuna.
Instead of Tune-o-matic? Oh, jeez. What would it be?
The Salmon-matic.
That is terrible.
The Flounder-matic.
Yeah, I think about it and like I'm thinking about this is kind of in the ballpark of a normal release time. I think part of the shock on this is that it's such a surprise product from Squier.
Well, this is like kind of like Epiphone teased the SL right before Summer NAMM. Right around the same sort of time period. I'm praying that these are at Summer NAMM so I can
The SL
them.
Was surprising because of the price point, though. At the end of the day, like the SL is a product that makes sense for Epiphone.
Sure.
And I'm not saying this product doesn't make sense. It's just that Fender has kind of like always avoided doing something like this with the Squier line. So, and I don't even think this is a risky product.
So, what do you think? Getting back to the general sense of the topic, not just this guitar. What do you think about, or what are your thoughts on like getting sidelined by like a new product that gets announced? Are you ever surprised, Steve? Do you ever feel anything?
That's what I'm saying. Like I'm trying to think of any other time.
Like what is the least
that's happened?
What is the least likely time for a product to launch?
Labor Day. I don't know.
I feel like if it's a holiday, then that's like it ups the chances. Like someone out there is gonna be like Labor Day.
Just go straight on the Labor Day
Check
sale.
it out.
When's Arbor Day? Can we pick Arbor Day?
No, I think anytime there's a holiday, you're
Arbor Day's not a holiday. National Donut Day. Next year, Doug Cower, drop a pink cower on National Donut Day.
You know when would be the biggest time to surprise people with a new thing?
When?
Like on Christmas Day. It's like, check this out, assholes. You already spent all your money. Here's a new product.
Yeah, there we go.
On Christmas Day.
Return all your presents. Buy this.
That would be a baller move for some like pedal company to be like, oh, you didn't like what you bought? What you got? What you didn't like your present that you got? Hope your mom kept the receipt because you're going to buy this with that money.
Oh my gosh, that'd be great.
Check it out.
That would be hilarious.
This is the new delay.
That new.
It's a phase delay.
Call it the delayed gratification.
Delayed gratification. With all the Star Trek I've been watching, I've really been wanting a gravimetric distortion pedal.
Oh my gosh. Everything is just gravimetric distortion.
So much technobabble on that show. It's ridiculous.
Voyager is pretty bad with technobabble.
Yeah. I just can't imagine being an actor on one of those shows and just being like, okay, I'm saying gravimetric again. Cool. Like I say that 20 times every episode. Awesome.
Yeah, they are just like, oh, and yeah, I don't know. I'm only like in the second season and maybe the third season of Voyager, so I'm pretty far back at this point. But yeah, it's pretty heavy. Like,
oh, also
everything's a pulse.
To be fair with my Voyager jump ahead, I did skip ahead to the 7 and 9 seasons.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
I can't stand Kess.
Because I know you were just like, oh, I don't know where you're at right here. Because I was telling you about that's why you didn't see the lizards.
I didn't see the lizards. So anyway, Steve.
Oh my gosh, dude! Stop!
I'll go back and watch the Kess episodes when I feel like it.
Why don't you like Kess?
I just don't like her personality. Is that weird?
She's just like she's weird, but whatever.
She's like, they were trying to do Star Trek Dharma and Greg. Is that good? Is a good comparison?
Actually, I'm laughing because I didn't think of Dharma and Greg. I thought of Daria. I started laughing. I was like, that doesn't make any sense.
So anyways, like, what would it take to surprise you with like a gear release? I'm not talking about like the release date. I'm talking like what product would surprise you?
Oh man. Gibbs or maybe Fender doing
Steve's having a little stroke.
No.
Give Fender.
I think it'd have to be like this kind of thing where like it's a product that like is unexpected. So like
like a price point that you
if Fender brought back like what was it called? Like the not the music, the one that was like only like 5 of them existed because they were trying to like
like the original Marauder or something.
Yeah,
like
the Marauder where they were like scrapping
they did like the hidden pickup underneath the pick guard.
Oh no, that's not the one I'm thinking of. I'm talking about the one where they were just dual sonic bodies and they cut out the bottom of it.
Shoot, what was that called?
Yeah, I don't remember.
It was the one that was cut to look like a duck's foot.
Is that what it was supposed to be?
Yeah,
I guess I can see that. I always saw it as a starfish.
Was it the Maverick?
Maybe. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So it'd have to be something like that. I think that honestly, like when Ibanez a couple years ago brought the Talman series back as just a bunch of Fenderish, in surfy colors, I thought that was pretty surprising. Like the timing wasn't surprising, but the product was surprising.
When Boss dropped the Waza Metal Zone, that was kind of like a surprise. Like, what?
The Boss 200 series is kind of surprising because it seems like it's moving backwards.
You think that's moving backwards?
It seems like it's.
Well, it's a lower, it's a more simple control set for like the 500 series style of.
Right. Well, that's what I mean. But it's like you have the 500 series, and they had the 20 series,
right?
And even like. It almost like I understand that
I look at them as a replacement for the 20 series,
and I understand like that's the thing is they kind of like sit in between the two.
Yeah.
But visually, it almost like it's such a departure from like classic Boss design that
I guess. I mean,
it has stomps.
I got to hold them at TGU, no big deal. Before anyone knew about them, no big deal. I didn't spoil anything. By the way, other manufacturers, I didn't spoil the secret. But anyways,
Did somebody spoil them?
No. I'm just saying for all the people out there who are worried about, people spoiling things and they don't want to send stuff
We
out
don't
early.
ever spoil
We've
anything.
never spoiled anything. But anyways, like in my hand, like experiencing them, I was like getting like like DD3 chills off of the delay one. Like it has the right paint, it has the right like appointments.
Right.
Like it feels like a Boss product that always should have existed. Like I don't know. I was really impressed by the form function of them, and I'm impressed by the price and the features because it really does bring like kind of like a modern feature set to a smaller pedal size for something that does so many things.
Right.
Because you've got stereo and MIDI and all that sort of stuff working with these in a box that's smaller than the 500 series. A box that's, I think it's well smaller than the 20 series. It was cool.
Yeah. No, I think it is smaller than the 20 series. The shape of it actually.
And they look really nice.
It looks like the
top jacks on everything, so you can put them right next to each
Yeah.
other. Do the Strymon thing with them.
The layout of it all kind of looks like some kind of Euro rack deal. It's
Yeah.
interesting. So, what about you, man? Or is the Boss Waza Metal Zone, was that your choice?
I
that
mean,
what you're going with?
anytime someone releases something that is appealing to me, I'm like shocked because I feel like my tastes are unique. I'm like, oh my gosh, I would buy that. That's incredible.
Unique.
But really, I probably just have
Ryan's
the
tastes are unique.
The same unique tastes that hundreds of thousands of other people have. I like the same dumb stuff as people who are just like me. I'm one of those girls that's not like other girls. It's the subreddit I started following. Not like other girls. It's all like people reposting memes that are just like, I'm not like other girls. I have a tattoo.
Oh my gosh.
It's bad.
All right, this
it's entertaining for
This
some
next
reason.
ad was sent by Matt Dawson. This is called Custom Built Guitar.
Apparently, you know the whole story behind this
Yeah,
thing.
so this starts with, hey, had to make some changes and repost due to some idiots, so here goes again. This is my second custom build and up for sale. This is in the UK Handmade Guitars and Equipment Exchange and Trade. This is my second custom build and up for sale. It sounds and plays amazingly well and looks gorgeous. The solid alder body is very lightweight and it had lovely grain, so I've tried to show it off the best I can. It's got blah, 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 whatever. It's got Vanson Vintage 59 pickups, Vintage Pro pickups, and paired up with Fender's Jimi Hendrix Voodoo Heaven. Sounds very similar to a well-known American company, shall say. Put a lot of blood, sweat, and some tears into this build. Had the electrics done by Darren, some guy, blah, 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 whatever, just some other stuff. I'm in Scotland and willing to ship at buyer's expense or deliver if fairly local too. This guy's asking, at the time was asking 450 pounds.
That's a heavy guitar. Sorry for that joke.
There you go. Okay, so first go to like one more picture. Look at that headstock.
What am I? Oh, the tuners are backwards.
The tuners are backwards.
And you put a 6-in-line set on a 3x3 set.
Yeah. So somebody asked him, machine heads are wrong and 3 strings on backwards. He said, I've changed the machine heads to. So basically,
You can't just do that because it turns the wrong
at different
way.
times, like people have like called him out on it. Then this is in, I think, a different group. He says, I'm having to relist this again and again due to smart-ass know-it-alls who don't agree when I've used the word customize in my advert. Look it up in dictionary first, the word customize, before being a dick on my post. This is my second customized build I've done up for sale, blah, blah, blah,
I'm starting
whatever.
to get the feeling that the interesting thing about this ad is not the guitar, it's the person.
Yeah. So basically, this guy over and over. Then someone asked him about it. He said asked him what it was. I think they said like, "Oh, is this just a Fernandez Vertigo?" And he said, "Not to my knowledge. Okay, though I can see it has a similar shape. I bought the body off of eBay and the neck separately too. Then did the styling. Also, the Fernandez looks like it has a quilted maple, and you can see the grain on my end top is something else." So basically, this guy bought 2 different parts on eBay. The birds, I think, are just stickers.
Yeah, you can do inlay stickers, which are silly.
The freaking, I don't know what this headstock was, but
It does have a bit of like a Fernandez.
he just took like a grinder to the whatever logo was on there and then replaced it.
It's not a Vertigo.
Is it not the Vertigo model? Okay, no, it's not the Vertigo. Is it the Monterey maybe? I had a conversation about where we were like guessing on what it was. Or no, it's like do they have a model called the Firefly?
I don't know.
Maybe it's called.
I'm just searching for Fernandez now, and I'm getting a lot of soccer players.
Yeah, that seems like a mistake. Yeah. Oh, sorry. It's the Dragonfly.
Dragonfly.
Um,
I'll look it up. Dragonfly. So it sounds like this guy is just like.
This is a Fernandez Dragonfly body.
Yeah, that does look similar. Yeah, that's it.
And this is the Fernandez headstock from the back. This is the Fernandez headstock from the front.
No, that's exactly what it is. It's a Fernandez Dragonfly, and there's one used here for $109.
So what you're saying is you would not pay 450 pounds for
No.
I don't know anything about the custom work. Apparently these Vanson pickups, Vanson is basically like a UK version of GFS. Like everything about this guy's basically asking you to pay him for a bunch of labor and because he ruined the finish.
Right. No, the guitar is a disaster as far as the pricing goes. Once you realize that he's just done a refin and a mod thing on this Fernandez, and it doesn't matter if he bought the neck and the body separate because they belong together because they're from the same freaking guitar.
Oh, in another group, he said, I used to like this group and sold a few things fine in the past by tickets full of smartass know-it-all arseholes. So leaving this shithole and the dickhead that commented on my ad being abusive and harassing me can go take a flying to yourself. And if you want to try to say the same to my face in person, then I'm game and see how badly you get hurt, mother.
Did you hear a few weeks back when I censored you? Censored us? I recorded these little like fret sounds and stuff like that. It was fun.
You can do it again?
Yeah, I'll do it again. I probably still have the file somewhere.
I always just mark it as an E. Did we get a complaint?
It sounds like this guy's having like some sensitivity to like the guitar that he built. I mean, the thing that he did looks kind of attractive. The carve on the
I think the carve looks fine. I think what he did to the headstock is a nightmare. It's just like the way he like goes about it. It's like it's his
toot is all wrong.
Yeah, and also it's like if I went and bought like a Squier body and slapped some rando no-name neck on it or whatever, or a Squier neck but from a different place, who freaking cares? And then like listed it as like, oh, I can't, customized, got this stuff, but it's like you didn't actually build anything.
Yeah.
And some of these groups are like building groups.
Job.
I'm not even sure if there's that. I mean, I don't know even how much of a refinish there is going on.
Yeah, I think he took it back down to bare wood, and
You think he went bare wood and then
stenciled the top?
refinished
like,
it?
look how rough the edges are on that top horn. The line's not straight. He taped that off. There you can see it's uneven there too. He taped off like a stain thing that he wanted to do on the top here.
Right.
So he did kind of like a home refin sort of fun concept. He was trying to do like that Ibanez 7-string kind of look. You know, that one that's got like the wood edges, but then that green yellow burst on top.
Oh yeah.
That's what he was trying to do.
Yeah. This whole story is just ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, this guy, if he's having trouble in groups, he just needs to take a hint. And
clearly he's like has no chill.
Got no chill.
Gotta have some chill.
You know what? So, what's the Fonz like? This guy needs to be like the Fonz.
Hey.
Yeah, the Fonz is cool, right?
Speaking of chill, this week's episode is brought to you by Dario.
What does that have to do with chill?
They're a super chill company.
They're super chill guys over at
This
Dario.
week we're talking about the universal strap lock. This is a strap lock that can pretty much attach to any strap. You got got
buttons,
you got
got
a button here to go on your guitar.
Yeah.
You got these clippy parts that'll go on your strap. I'm sure there's a technical name there that I don't know.
No, they're called clippy parts that go on your strap.
Okay, cool.
If you read the manual, that's what it says.
Oh, there's a manual? There's no manual.
There's no manual.
There probably is a manual online. Yeah, man, these are really cool. We've talked about them before. They're designed by Ned Steinberger, and they're just a great looking product. They're really like this part here. I think is for people like Ryan
I'm having trouble getting the other side out.
who
I got it.
have had an aversion to other strap locking systems because they tend to be really bulky.
I hate
this is really simple.
I saw some in a picture of someone's guitar the other day.
Yeah,
And they seriously stick out of the guitar like a freaking like bishop piece from a chess set. And I like that these really do just sit so low profile. I'm going to install this one right now on this strap. It's 2 pieces to install it. There it goes. Took a freaking second. Now it's
There
on
you
the
go,
strap.
man.
And that'll be compatible with its strap button and then maybe some other strap buttons.
Yeah.
And all you do to remove it is you pull the little tab and it'll slide right off.
Yep.
And it looks super slim, super flat. It's not a big old bishop chest piece sticking out of your guitar. And I also like that it fits pretty tight. It doesn't clank around. I don't like the clanky feeling
Right.
when you've got these locking tuners on it. Not tuners, locking
And you can
strap
pretty
buttons
much
on a
just
guitar.
do this all with a screwdriver. You did that with finger tie-in.
Yeah.
You just need a basic like Phillip head screwdriver for this part.
If you
Compare that
even-
to like at least the tuning, the strap locks I've used in the past. You have to have like a freaking like crescent wrench
Jeez.
or a ratchet set to like, because it's
Yeah.
all nuts.
No, this is all finger tight besides. Once you get the strap buttons on there, it's all just finger tight. You
Yeah.
can swap it from strap to strap. Super easy.
Very cool.
great.
All right. So check that out. Check out in the notes from D'Addario, in my show notes that I write.
Steve owns
me.
those show notes.
That's right.
That's all Steve down there.
Don't take my show notes. I'll sue you.
That is intellectual property right there.
That actually kind of is intellectual property.
You should have included the show notes as an
If
an
your-
invention.
If your show has notes,
We invented that. So stupid.
all right. This next topic is brought to you by Ryan Burke.
I thought this up weeks ago before I left for Germany.
Yeah.
And it's just been marinating in my head. Let's see if I've got any like actual good content to bring to
You
it.
don't.
But I had this thought, or someone else prompted this thought, maybe in a group somewhere. I don't. If you came up with this, I'm sorry. I'll give you credit if you ask for it. So, anyways, like, what if you could only buy? This is a hypothetical. What if you could only buy guitar gear that was appropriate for your skill level?
Sorry, I'm going to interrupt this for a second.
Great.
What I would not be buying was this. David Gilmour's Black Strat sold for $3.9 million.
Why?
I guess that was a charity auction, but still.
Which charity?
I don't know, man.
$3.9 million?
Yep.
That's almost $4 million. It's a black Strat.
That's almost $4 million.
It's a black Strat for someone who plays through fuzzes and a pile of delays and stuff like that. It's not even like, oh, this one has the best, like wood tone ever.
Yeah.
Jeez. Do people really love Pink Floyd that much?
I guess so, man.
It is
All right.
Pink Floyd, right? I didn't screw that
Yes,
up.
Pink Floyd. Back on topic, man. Gift for your, and I mean, they've been around a while. It's
So
not-
how good do you have to be to afford the $4 million black Strat? Sorry, I interrupted.
I think
you.
David Gilmour should be probably the only one. Who
I don't
can
think
own it.
he's good enough for that.
Well, it is his Strat.
Yeah, but he doesn't live in this hypothetical.
I don't know, man. The problem with this question is if I'm only allowed to purchase gear that's fit for my level, I'm probably not allowed to purchase gear.
No, there's student level stuff for a reason. Like you will still always be able to buy gear no matter how bad
Right.
you are. Like, but imagine like you have to take a test. Like
Okay.
what's it? There was something that
I
brought
would
this
only be
on,
allowed
like,
to play like Squiers and Epiphones then.
There's some company that's like you had to prove your ability before you could buy their product.
Who
I forget what it was.
Wasn't it like a guitar company?
I don't think it was a guitar company. I think it was something outside the guitar world.
I don't remember.
Maybe it was a guitar company, and it was like you have to send in an application with you playing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. This sounds
It was
familiar, but I don't
weeks
remember
ago
exactly what it is.
that I had this
Yeah.
thought.
All
So
right.
like, what if every company did that? It was like you have to like register your abilities and like show what you can do, and someone figures out like what like your rating is as a guitarist and what is like appropriate for you to buy.
I feel like I would be capped at like a 500. Like I wouldn't be allowed to buy anything over like $500. Maybe. Well, I guess in today's market, it's like I would be capped at like maybe 700 new.
What do you think the rating system would look like? You think it'd be like alphabet number? Like you'd be like, oh man, I'm an A14.
Alphabet and number. No, I don't think there's that
It'd
many tiers.
It'd probably it'd eventually be tiers.
I think
and number, but it'd
like
probably just be letter grade.
I think it'd just be like letter grade. But I think it would be, or like stars.
Stars?
Yeah.
It'd have to be like a 10-star system.
You think that many? You think there's that many tiers?
People would get into it, dude. People would like lose sleep over half a star.
I'm thinking like 1 star is like...
It would be a 20-star system because there would be half stars.
Oh my gosh. I'm thinking 5 stars. First star is like...
Student, brand new.
Sub $200. 2 stars is like sub $700. No, 2 stars is like maybe sub $400. So you're still stuck in Squire. 3 stars is like Mexican Fender. Maybe some Korean imports. So maybe that kicks you up to like 900. I don't know, man, because I don't think
I think you need 10 stars. I think if it was reality, I think people would get into half stars and they would take it super seriously. And then eventually some company would come out and be like, we built an 11-star guitar, and people would crap their pants. People would lose their minds. 11 stars? Oh no! I'm still stuck at 8.
The problem with the 11-star guitar is no one knows what it sounds like. The builder just put it together.
Not even the builder can play it.
Not even the builder.
That's the real problem, is that most of these builders are 2s and 3s at best.
Well, if the builders we know are 2s and 3s, then I'm definitely a half star. Can we get quarter stars?
I hope this becomes a real scale that we use to describe ourselves in the group and stuff.
It's always funny, like in the different groups I'm in, where people are like, "Oh yeah, here's my video from my last gig. Here's my video from church on Sunday, whatever." Like, video on church on Sunday, trying out the new drive. I don't really think I had it dialed in right, and it was kind of sloppy on this one lead. And I'm watching. I'm like, I can't do any of those things.
There was a video that popped up in a group, obviously, of some attractive young woman playing a lead on an electric guitar and pretty much nailing it. And it was really like a pretty intense piece. But like everyone in the group is just like, oh, great, just another girl who gets likes because this and that and her looks or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know, guys. She's way better than I am. And I know a lot of people could say that, but like this is my job somehow too. Yeah. And like I should be better for what I do.
There's definitely like a weird... I mean, not to get off the subject of stars, but there's definitely like a weird... I think it... Like
I would say that she was like a 6 to 7 star.
Right.
And I consider myself probably a 3-star.
I think there's definitely some jealousy that definitely inhabits a lot of these groups where people say, oh, this person is getting attention.
Sure.
And a lot of times it's like people are even saying that this person is getting attention over attention that I think somebody else should be getting. But in a way, what they're really saying is the musical taste that this person appeals to is inferior to my musical taste.
There's a lot to unpack with those things.
Oh, yeah. But I think that's at least like a big component of it. It's like we did have the topic come up that was like, who are the better brothers, the Jonas Brothers or the Hanson Brothers? And people are like, oh, both of those guys are hacks. What about
but which one is better?
Yeah, but like
it doesn't matter if they're both hacks.
Or maybe it was just like, who are the best musical brothers? And then people are like, well, what about the Towns brothers or the Van Zants or the Almonds or the whatever the names of the
Sure.
So it was brought up
I bet there's brothers out there that we don't even know about.
There's like
the
recent
best musicians.
There's like recent brothers, and so they were like comparing.
What about the movie Brothers starring Will Ferrell and
no, Step Brothers? They were Step
Brothers. Yeah.
But like they're like, oh, what about the guys from Greta Van Fleet? And then someone's like, Greta Van Fleet's just a cover band, and I didn't comment, but I really want to be like, Greta Van Fleet, never heard of her.
So, like, who's someone that you think is a 10-star player?
Man.
And what guitars can they buy? I mean, basically at 10 stars, like you just get whatever guitar you want, and like someone out there is crafting a guitar for you over years. It's like a custom order sort of thing, and it costs millions of dollars. It's that auction guitar or whatever. And is there anyone that qualifies, you know?
I mean, I don't know, like how regimented is this? Because at what point is it just like, well, you're a professional touring musician? Like, part of me feels like this should just come down to like a pay structure. Like, how much money are you making?
No, I feel like...
Because, like, are people pissed off that,
No, because I feel like people who aren't making money should still be able... Because a lot of these guitar companies are propped up by the hobbyists.
That's true.
So they've still got to be able to pay to the hobbyists. And there are some ripping hobbyists out there. Like, professional status doesn't mean someone has or doesn't have talent. I think there's got to be some sort of independent organization where you submit your application and you send in a sample of your playing... or you have to go and perform it live, and then they judge your star count.
But okay, so here's the issue, though, right? Like, going back to this.
This is a lot of infrastructure.
Yeah, there's way too much infrastructure.
To control people buying guitars.
The
entire industry is really propped up by 2s and 3s buying 9 and 10s. You know, that's where most of these guitar companies make their money. Let's be honest.
I am not seeing it right now. Oh, there it is. Do they have a price? So I would say, like, I think depending on where you go, a lot of critics would say that John Mayer at best is like a 6-star guitarist. Like, oh, he's good, but he's not really that good.
I feel like when you hit 6, you're hitting some kind of level of technical, like measurable accuracy, and then everything beyond that is just like artistic interpretation of what's good.
Well, that's and that's like an issue too, I guess, with all of it. Where I'm asking, or what the question I'm coming from, and I cannot find a price for it, is before the John Mayer Silver Sky, John Mayer's signature PRS guitar was the PRS Super Eagle, which is like a $10,000 guitar. So I feel like at that point, like, that's definitely...
So you think he had to step down because the guitar was outside his skill range?
Yeah, I'm saying, like, if you're using the scale, like, did PRS build him a 9 or 10-star guitar, but then they were like, oh, no, you're really only a 6-star guitarist, so we're going to give you a different signature model.
I feel like the Silver Sky is like a solid, like, 5-star guitar.
Okay, so then John being a 6 works.
Yeah. I feel like, he like he's got a guitar that's slightly below his playing start level.
Okay.
And it's more marketable that way, you know? What do you think about the concept of, like, if there was a brand, or if there is a brand that's
who's grading the guitars?
That's another, like, whole other level of bureaucracy.
Because, again, like, and I've told this story like a bunch of times on this show. Years ago, I went to Guitar Center and I played 4 Telecasters, 4 different tiers of official Telecasters. So from Fender branded, Squier branded,
Telecasters.
Play authentic. So I played like an American Tele, a couple different American Teles. I played the Squier CV. And I think a standard Tele, or maybe a modern Play or something. And the Squier CV I thought was the best out of that 4. On a price, if we're just thinking off a price point, I feel like the CV Tele is like a 2, maybe like probably a 2-star, 3-star price point. But from a playability standpoint, I was like, wow, this is probably like a 5-star Telecaster. But then does every single
And it was
instrument
weird that you thought that back then because we hadn't developed the star system.
Yeah, yeah. And then does every guitar that comes out of the factory have to be individually rated? So like maybe you have even though they're all the same price point, you have Fender American Strats that are like 7-star Strats,
Sure.
but then you also have Fender American Strats that are like 4-star Strats, but they're all $1,500.
Yeah. I mean, we just have to
I
trust.
feel like I'm more interested in breaking this system than using this
that's
system.
how you make a strong system, is by breaking it and fixing it. We just have to put our trust in the
system,
in the Guitar Council.
The guitar.
Who's on the Guitar Council? To make the wise decisions.
The Guitar Council is what? Dan, Mick, Rob.
That would be a lot of fun if it was, like people in our world that were on the council. What do you think about this in reality? Like, if there is or was a guitar company that's just like, we're not going to build for you unless you are playing at a certain level. Like we do, like think of it like as a company that like builds, like equipment for like famous athletes or something like that. Like,
right.
We're just not going to build stuff for anyone. Like, we're focused on building for like the true people of skill. We're making the Hanzahori swords or whatever the name is,
Right.
Like, you have to earn it.
Hattori Hanzo.
Yeah. Do you think that that's a viable business plan? Do you think like that's fair? Do you think people would get upset? Like some rich dude out there who's a 2-star player, but he has money to blow on a $20,000 guitar, but the guy making them, who doesn't make a lot of money because he's only making 2 guitars a year,
right,
is like, no, I won't. Is that noble, because or is that like foolish?
In a sense, I mean, how close is that? And maybe you don't know the answer to this. But how close is that to how like Dumble has operated? Like,
that's basically it.
There's an extremely limited number of Dumble amps, and anytime you hear about like a new Dumble amp, which I don't even know when the last time, because I don't really know that much about Dumble, to be honest. Like, how often are their products coming out? And it seems like
the impression I got is that all Dumbles were basically customs.
Yeah, no, but that's what I'm saying. So I think they were all pretty much just made for like individual players.
Right. And they were all like finely tuned to that person or whatever. Like, I don't know if any of this is true, but I read somewhere that like when you met with him and like signed up to get a Dumble, he would have you sit down with like a bunch of like deluxe reverbs and a bunch of champs and like have you pick which ones you liked, and then he would like kind of build the amp around that like initial interaction or something.
I honestly, like, I have no idea. I don't know, but I feel like that's the closest.
And you can't forget
equivalent I can think of
the crystal lettuce and everything that goes into those things.
Yeah. It's green. It's crispy.
Yeah, it's crystal lettuce.
Crystal lettuce.
Only the finest crystal lettuce goes into a Dumble salad.
Oh my God. Oh, you got anything else on this?
I don't think so. I think it's a fun concept. I hope that in our social medias we just start talking about
let us know
stuff in 10-star terms.
Definitely let us know in the comments how many stars of a player you think you are.
Yeah, or like maybe we should come up with a 10-star rating system for guitars and for gear and be like, sorry guys, this is a 9-star pedal. It was almost there. It was almost perfection. It just couldn't get it. Like, nothing is 10-star.
Yeah, can 10-star even exist?
If someone claims something is 10-star, then everyone has to like call BS and call them into the court of guitarists to argue their case, and it takes years to clear something as a 10-star. Last ad.
Let's do some housekeeping. I got a little. Yeah, I know.
Sweep
right?
it clean.
I got a little housekeeping. I'm trying to find the next ad. Actually, I don't know what it's under. Anyway, housekeeping real quick. Housekeeping is where we celebrate the people. Gosh, this is terrible. Just a quick shout out to Elston Gray, who joined the Inner Circle at the $10 level, supporting us through Patreon. And we got 3 $1 supports from Podbean this week. But I don't, like, the names are just gibberish because that's how Podbean kind of operates, is it's just like numbers and letters. So thank you if you're one of those people.
Whoever you are, we love you.
Definitely, I will say that I won't say that we've like phased out. We're not phasing out Podbean, but It's definitely communication goes a lot more smoothly through Patreon. So if you're thinking about supporting the show, head on over to patreon.com/60cyclehum. It goes into a lot of the things that you see, the wall behind us, not the gear, but the actual
physical
support,
wall,
the physical
the
wall,
structure.
the string sling,
The cameras
swings,
and lights in this room, the microphones.
all that stuff, all this
Yeah.
infrastructure, and plus we get to send Ryan to Summer Nam.
Yeah, sometimes we do some travel and some fun extra bits.
So anyway, thanks for supporting the show, Elson Gray and 3 Rando Podbeans. This last ad was sent by Justin Sveck. He said, now this would be a pedal shelf to rule them all, and it would smell like fresh kicks to boot. Pun totally intended. This is a retail shoe wall, fixtures for sale, store closing. Only $40. Do you think it's $40 per unit?
I think it's $40 per section. This caught my eye because when our Babies R Us was closing,
Oh, yeah.
I was going in there and looking at all the wall dividers that they had for sale, and they were like dirt cheap and like beefy. And it was before I built the set behind here, and I was seriously looking at them like, should I do movable wall sections for this? Because I would have been able to hang like guitars off of them and have movable sections and stuff. But I was just like, no, it's too much extra work, and I'm not actually going to move stuff once I have it set. So.
I feel like these could work.
But this is pretty cool. It's the wall from a shoe store that you would put all the shoes on. I feel like they're too deep.
They are pretty deep.
But you could stick amps on those and speakers and stuff like that. Like the idea of buying like retail closeout like shelves and stuff like that is really interesting to me.
Let's go find some more stores that are going out of business. What do you think this is? A Foot Locker? Something like that?
Something like that. Isn't Payless closing down all their locations?
But I don't think Payless had anything like this.
You might be surprised.
I never saw shoe displays in Payless.
So it's probably a Foot Locker or something.
Yeah, this seems more like something on that line.
But I think if
also it's red and black.
I think the shelves are a little bit too deep, but you could probably tweak these to become like a really cool pedal shelf.
It probably wouldn't be strong enough to support amps, actually.
You don't think so?
Yeah, I think
You throw a big heavy pair of Doc Martens on there, that's heavy. I know it's not heavy as an amp. But it's also kind of like a cool wall. Like if you had a big living room and a big open wall, that would be kind of like a cool thing to look at. And you put your little knickknacks and framed photos and stuff on it. I don't know. This is like a super off.
This is a good. This is a good wall if you were collecting EHX, classic EHX pedals.
Yeah,
big box format.
So you don't think those shelves are strong enough to hold an amp?
I don't know. I don't.
I wonder if you could. I wonder if they're strong enough that you could bolt a string swing onto the front of each one of those shelves and hang guitars.
I mean, I think you could do that. But the other thing with an amp too is like once you get above like 5 feet, you can't really do anything.
I know. Or you could just put this in your gigantic closet that you have for some reason and put all your shoes on them.
That's probably what somebody did. If you're a sneakerhead.
Yeah. Well, that's true. Yeah. Or you could buy these and open a shoe store.
There you go.
All right. Dumb off topic thing. Sorry I wasted your time.
All right.
Bye, everybody.
No, we got to do a song.
Stay grounded.
Geez, this week's song was sent in by Sonoran Surfers. They say, hi, Ryan and Steve. We've been working on this surf rock band in Arizona. We finally recorded a rough demo that should be available through this email. We are always engaged in listening to Ryan talk about drippy reverb and praise for the Boss Katana. We love both of these things. This demo was really haphazardly put together. I'm a novice, but moreover, the recording process doesn't particularly excite me. I placed an SM57 on my Silverface reissued deluxe reverb, forgot my tube screamer at home, and was straight from a Fender Jag Player Series into the amp. I had brought my mod kit spring reverb, the Wave, which I love a lot, but was having technical difficulties and decided not to use it for the recording. The bass was a Rogue Hofner-style violin bass that we DI'd into a mixer into a digital Tascam recorder. I intended to use 2 mics for the drums, but couldn't decipher the crazy spaghetti cables all over the floor of my drummer's home, so I ended up only using one unknown dynamic mic on the drums. We intend to do a better recording that will be professional later, but we felt the urgency to have some kind of recording floating around somewhere. We are the Sonoran Surfers, and we make instrumental surf rock from Arizona. We write songs about the experience of the desert that we live in. We listen to 60 Cycle each week and enjoy the podcast and YouTube videos a lot. All right, thank you guys for sending us this song. We're going to play the song called Haboob because Haboobs are like really weird to watch videos of. And so
they're like a big sandstorm thing, right?
Yeah, so I like that one.
Yeah. Bye, everybody.
Stay grounded.